Hi there. When you look at Alibaba, you might ask yourself, can Baba stock get back to $300? Because if this happens, especially at the current level, you can easily have more than 3x on your investment. Now, to answer that question, you have to know the past of Alibaba. What happened? Maybe you know that in 2020, Ant Group was about to go public to raise over 30 billion. That would have been the largest IPO in the world. And that's why the stock price went up a lot in 2020, over 50%. And Jack Ma gave a wonderful speech. He spoke about the financial system in China, and because of his ideas, his future plans, the Chinese Communist Party got upset. They stopped the Ant Group IPO. And after that, the hell has begun. The China's crackdown has affected many companies, especially tech companies. They came up with new regulations, new rules, which changed the entire environment. Moreover, China fined Alibaba 2.8 billion for behaving like a monopoly, and because of that fine, new regulations, new rules, Alibaba lost its advantages that they have before 2021. And that's why other competitors have emerged, such as Pinduoduo or PDD Holdings. Now, there was also that pandemic, which caused a decline in consumption, production, and all economic activities, which resulted in a lower growth rate for China. And because of that, Alibaba's profits have declined. You can see in this picture. The earnings have declined from 21 billion to less than 10 billion, about 8.8 billion. They started to improve a little in 2023, but still they are down. And that's why the stock price went down over 75% from its last peak. A decline in their earnings, China's regulations blocking their IPO, plus more recently, China fined Ant Group with almost 1 billion. This may be the end of China's regulations, of that crackdown, but you have to be aware that new fines, new rules may occur in the future that can affect many industries, not only Alibaba. China is changing its rules quite fast. They come up with new regulations every year. And that's why Jack Ma got so sad. Moreover, maybe you know that Alibaba was planning to spin off their divisions, their segments. They announced that they were planning to spin off their cloud division segment to seek a full spin-off by May 2024. But in the last quarter, Q2 this year, they cancelled that IPO because of the US restrictions, especially on advanced chips, and they've decided to not proceed with a full spin-off, and instead they'll focus on developing a sustainable growth model for their cloud computing. And because of this announcement, Alibaba lost 20 billion in market cap or in value. You can also see that the stock price went down 26% in just a few months. Now, from my point of view, this is not bad. This is good for Alibaba in the long term. Of course, in the short term, this was great for speculators because they were able to make a quick profit. But if you are a long-term investor, this is great for you. And of course, the other segments, for instance, Alibaba International, they're preparing an external fundraising, and for SideNow, they applied for an initial public offering in Hong Kong. And of course, for the other segments, they are still evaluating market conditions. Now, this is the story behind this huge decline, over 76% from its peak. But this might also be a huge opportunity for you, or better said, a lifetime opportunity. What can happen that the stock price can get back to $300 or even more? Well, let's see. If you look at their segments, you can see their growth rate for the last quarter, Q2. If those segments keep growing more in the future, their revenue improve, then also the stock price will improve in the long term. course, you also have to pay attention to their profits, especially income from operations. As you can see, their earnings from operations have improved over 50% in the last 6 months. That's amazing. But the market doesn't focus on that. They are sad because of this cancelled spin-off. However, in the long term, what matters is their profits, their future profits. Now, when you look at their segments, you can see that Taobao and Tmall, and especially their cloud intelligence group, haven't grown that much. The growth rate was lower, about 4% for Taobao and Tmall and 2% for cloud computing. If next quarter or next year this growth rate gets better, then the stock price will go up. Be aware that most of their profits come from Taobao and Tmall. If this segment delivers a higher growth rate in the future, then Alibaba will rebound. So this is the first opportunity. You might know that China's economy is expected to grow by 5% a year in the next 10 years. And Alibaba has good tailwinds to improve its revenue more in the future. And also their cloud computing segment can improve. Second, maybe you know that they keep doing buybacks. In the last 6 months, they used of about $4.6 billion for buybacks. And they still have $14 billion left. Imagine, if they keep buying their shares, especially at the current level, let's say they use only $10 billion a year, then the stock price can double only from buybacks. So that will be great. You can also see the number of shares have decreased from 2.7 billion to 2.5 billion. So you combine their buybacks, a decrease in the number of shares, plus an increase in their earnings, they deliver high revenue and operating earnings in the future, the stock price can easily double from the current level. Or even more, it can get back to $300. But this is not the end. They still have other opportunities. Don't forget that they also pay a dividend of about 2.5 billion. That will be a dividend yield of around 1.3% at the current stock price. So that's not bad. While you are waiting for this rebound to $300 or even more, you also get a nice dividend of about 1.3% a year. Or even more if they increase that dividend. Plus, as I said, Alibaba has more opportunities. Ant Group might try an IPO reboot. If that happens, then the stock price will rebound a lot, especially in the short term. You might have an increase over 50%. But if this happens, it may happen next year or after 2 or 3 years, then this means that Alibaba and the Chinese Communist Party are in good relationships, which can bring more opportunities in the future. So you also have to be aware of this. It may happen. Plus, don't forget that Alibaba has more innovations. For instance, the driverless robots just made their 1 million e-commerce delivery. If they get more efficient with their deliveries, they can reduce their workforce and improve their profits. And that will be a plus for you as an investor, because their profits will go up and their expenses will go down. But only if their system works. Their autonomous cars. So this is another opportunity you have to be aware of. Moreover, don't forget about their open source AI model. Alibaba launched its large language model, which can bring other opportunities. They may deliver new software products to different companies around the world, and that will be another source of revenue. So as you can see, they have more opportunities, not only from buybacks and an increase in their profits. They can expand their business even more in the future. Of course, another opportunity that may happen is Jack Ma. He may come back to lead Alibaba again. I don't know if that will happen, but we have to take into account. Because if Jack Ma gives a speech about the future of Alibaba, the stock price may rebound in that day over 10% easily. He also urges change and reform at Alibaba. However, he said that he won't ever come back to lead Alibaba. Because, as he stated, I won't come back because I don't feel like I have left. This means that he is still running Alibaba behind the scenes. Now, don't think that Jack Ma can change the world, but he is like a symbol. When he speaks, people listen to him. They get inspired to do great things. You can also watch its original pitch, how he thinks about running a great business.
而今天，我想把大家请过来，跟大家共同探讨以后至少5年、10年我们要做的事情。那么阿里巴巴我们将做成怎么样？我想，从黄页的时候我就提过，黄页所要瞄准的对象不是国内战略，而是国际战略。我们所有的竞争对手不在于中国，而在于美国的硅谷。如果说第一，我们把阿里巴巴定位，就把它作为国际战略，我们不要把它定位是国内战略。第二个呢，我想就是我们要学会硅谷人的一种拼劲。如果说我们是早上8点钟下班，8点钟上班，5点钟下班，这个不是搞高科技啊，这个绝对不是我们阿里巴巴能成功。如果说我们有这种精神，反正我上班了，将近8点钟上班，5点钟下班了 ，OK， 赶紧去其他地方。人家美国人强就强他的硬件，强就强他的系统建设，这方面确实比你早。但是玩信息玩软的，中国人的脑袋绝不比人差。我们在座的所有的人的脑袋绝不比任何人差。这就是我们敢跟美国人斗的东西，我们绝对敢斗。如果我们是好的 team、好的团队，我们自己知道我们想做什么，我们想干些什么的时候，我相信我们是可以以一当十。我们能够赢政府机构，我们能够赢其他很多的民营企业、大的这种企业的是什么？凭的是我们的精神、我们的意识、我们的创新概念，以及我们这种拼劲才能去斗。否则的话，跟他们有什么区别呢？谁都知道，Internet 是个泡沫。我刚才讲的危机感就是Internet这个泡沫现在越来，什么时候破？然后呢，把股票掉了，eBay 股票会涨。那么有一天eBay股票涨了以后，可能阿里巴巴社区的股票涨，所以不要担心。我觉得 Internet 这个梦不会破，这个泡沫不会破。我们为后面的3、5年所付出的代价是非常惨重，只有这样的惨重的代价，才会赢得我们未来的取得的成功。那么目标是2002年，阿里巴巴上市。
So that's a great speech to inspire a great team. And I think that Alibaba can rebound from this level to go back to $300 and grow even more in the future. So that's it for this video. And if you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments.